Hey Lockstars, welcome back to the channel. Today we're getting real about something with some of us lock wearers, especially us black women. Hey Lockstars, welcome back to the channel. Today we're getting real about something with some of us lock wearers, especially us black women. We're going to be talking about something that we don't talk about enough, and that is hair loss with locks, okay? We're going to get real about that today, okay? So whether you are newly starting your lock journey or you're deep into your journey as I am, this video is for you guys, okay? So we are going to be doing a deep dive into the causes of hair loss, and we are also going to be discussing the signs, the early signs that you all need to pay attention to, okay? So we'll also give solutions. So we are going to make sure that we are protecting our beautiful crown, so you don't have to worry about any of that. I have my handy dandy notes here, guys, because a lot of this information in here is stuff that I had to look up and that I've even had to learn, okay? So we're going to be going through that, and we're also going to be finding out what CCCA stands for, what that acronym stands for, and that is the first thing that we will be going over today, okay? So, and this is a mouthful, guys, so just be patient with me on here. I'm going to put this acronym up here, and you're going to see what I mean, okay? So let's get to it. Okay, so let's talk about it. What is CCCA? It's a type of permanent hair loss that usually starts at the crown and spreads out. Do you see anything? Yeah, okay. So cicatricial, okay, hold on. I missed that, guys. Okay, so the CCA is short for centrofungal cicatricial alopecia. Okay, that is a mouthful. So like I said before, it is a type of permanent hair loss that usually starts at the crown and then it spreads out. So cicatricial means scarring, and once scarring happens, the follicles may not grow back, and it is most common in black women, okay? It often goes unnoticed until there's visible thinning and balding. And in fact, according to the American Academy of Dermatology, 1/3 of black women may experience some form of traction alopecia or CCCA in their lifetime. Let that sink in, guys. 1 in 3 black women in our lifetime will experience some form of traction alopecia. 1, 2, 3, she has it. 1, 2, 3, she has it. 1, 2, 3. Listen, this is a very important video, guys. This information that we're sharing, that I'm sharing today in this video, is for us, for my black African American sisters. Look, we need to really get serious about our hair and how we've damaged our hair over the years, and there's a lot of causes for it. There's reasons. So we're going to have these reasons, and we're going to have the solutions. So there's no reason why we can't start to make this change, okay? Let's take this serious, guys. We can do it. We can do it, okay? So we're going to go ahead and go to some of the causes that are related to the hair loss with the locks. And some of you guys know some of this stuff already, but we're still going to go over it. For those who may not know, we're still going to go ahead and tackle this, right? So tension, okay? Retightening too tightly, over styling or constant ponytails, and using heavy oils or waxes that clog our follicles. So let's go back to 1, retightening too tightly. We all know that that has been an issue with us, and not even with just locks. Like this doesn't just refer to locks. This is if you're a braid wearer, if you wear like crochet braids, getting your cornrows done too tight. Any of that stuff contributes to retightening too tight. Okay, guys, all of that stuff, when we retighten our locks down too tight, or we're getting those braids in, we're going on vacation, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're beautifying ourselves, and the styles are beautiful. We all know that. But guess what? That causes a lot of inflammation. A lot of inflammation on our scalp, which starts to lead to the damage that is caused in our hair. Okay, over time, too much of that over time and over the years is going to develop into this alopecia that they're talking about. And unfortunately, it's really most of us black women that tend to wear these hairstyles. And like I said in the end, I'm going to relate that, bring that full circle back to that and some of the reasons why I feel like that happens. Okay, and like the over styling, guys, I am a plain Jane when it comes to styling. Most of the time, y'all see me on here, my locks are just hanging down, or I may have these braids in. Maybe I'm going to do a braid out or something like that. Or I'll pull it up in a high ponytail, loose ponytail at that if it's too hot. And that is pretty much the extent. Sometimes I might do a low ponytail for work and maybe like one side out that I might curl with a lock loop or something like that. But I am very, very low maintenance when it comes to styling my hair, guys. So you have to remember, I know that all these beautiful styles, especially us wearers with sister locks, where the locks are small and you can do so much more with your locks. Understand, less is more. That tension matters, okay? So no over styling and all of this kind of stuff that we constantly do. It is time that we stop all that, guys. Like, if you want to keep your hair on your head, these are some things you're gonna have to pay attention to, all right? All right, so they said tiny or overly heavy sections pulling at the root. So I would just kind of take that as if you're really going in there, sectioning too much, pulling too much, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure you're taking it easy with that, okay? So, and the second one is improper care. So that is infrequent washing, product buildup suffocating the scalp, and using heavy oils or waxes that clog the follicles. So let's take the first one, infrequent washes. We all know that it is best to, confirmation, little bug slip, the confirmation. Infrequent washes, guys, that myth, I hope we're all done with that myth about the dirtier your hair is, the more your hair grows. We grew up with that myth. Put it in the comments if you grew up with the dirtier your hair is, the more it grows. Guys, you're washing your hair 1 to 2 weeks. I would say 2 weeks because I kind of feel like I still do have a thing about putting too much water on your locks, especially in the beginning, because you do still have to watch out for waterlogging. You do still have to watch out for bunching of your locks, which can make your ends swell. We don't want that. But I think 2 weeks is a great place to start. If you're fully locked and you're locked and loaded and you're good, you're down in your journey and you don't have to worry about any kind of unraveling. If you want to do a once a week, you are welcome to do that, and that's what's recommended, because the idea is to make sure your scalp is clean, guys. That is going to be conducive also of making sure we keep everything intact, is to make sure that your scalp is fresh and clean, okay? That's going to be important. Product buildup, suffocating your scalp. So even as we go down in our journey and we want to start using products, we still want to make sure that we're not using stuff that's going to be clogging our scalps. We're not putting heavy oils and things like that on your scalp. Now, If you want to, if your locks are feeling you know, really dry, you can do conditioners on your hair. Sister Locks actually sells a conditioner, so you definitely can do that. Once you are fully locked, you can do a nice deep condition to kind of go ahead and moisturize those locks. What I do is I use a hair spritz that I actually refresh my locks with every morning, and I also put a little bit of oil at the ends of my hair. Now remember, I am down in my journey. I'm almost 9 years in. Yay! Actually, this September coming up, my lockversary is September the 12th and 13th, okay? And then so I can do that. So I do actually deep condition my hair when my hair feels dry, and I also make sure I moisturize my ends. Now you can use a light oil like jojoba oil or something like grapeseed. Those are very light oils. If you want to go ahead and add something like that in your spritz, or to go ahead and refresh your hair. And I would pretty much concentrate on the ends of my hair and in the scalp, and we're talking about a couple of drops. So we're not doing all this crazy stuff, guys, okay? We're not slathering castor oil all down deep. We're not doing all that, okay? So making sure we're not clogging anything up or using any of the heavy oils or the waxes like beeswax. We're definitely not doing anything like that. Or some of the heavier ones will be your castor oils. And castor oils are generally, we'll talk about that in like the things that kind of are the pros and where that belongs, but we're definitely not putting that on our scalp, guys, okay? And the third one is internal factors. So this is hormonal changes like postpartum or your thyroid issues, iron or vitamin D deficiency, and stress, y'all. Let's be real, stress. Okay, so the first one is hormonal changes, and that can start, actually that started happening with me. Like if you're a part of the Fabulous 50 club like I am, you're going to be experiencing a lot of hormonal changes, and especially of those who may have had hysterectomies out here. That is definitely going to change your hormones. You might need to check out your thyroid to see if there's any issues with that. You could check with your doctor with that, because usually those are some of the causes of hair thinning too. And naturally, as we start to get a little bit older, we'll end up dealing with it anyways. Our hair may not be as thick as when we were younger, but at the same time, significant thinning does mean something, okay? That does mean something. And as far as your iron and your vitamin D, you might need to check that, because I also suffered with anemia as a young child and then growing up. So I needed to make sure my iron levels were really up there, because that's just something that I suffer with. And then come to find out, I found out a lot of like African Americans actually suffer with anemia. So that's one of the things to kind of look up. I don't have the site for that, but that is something that I did find out, and you can look that up if you want to find out about that anemia in the African American community, okay? And we all have heard about the vitamin D. I guess with the darker melanin, we tend to need more vitamin D. So if you're not getting out in the sun, make sure you're getting out in the sun and getting your vitamin D. It is good for us, okay? And we all know that we don't, the more stress you have in your life, the less hair you have on your head, okay? Stress can cause all kinds of ailments, okay? So make sure that we are incorporating different things in our lives so that it can be as stress less as possible. One of my recommendations is going out in nature. Nature is a beautiful way to just immediately calm you down. Try grounding. Literally take off your shoes and socks and walk out in the grass. If you're in a nice area that you can walk, or just if you find that you do that, you'll find that you can actually really ground yourself really nicely. So those are some of the things that you can do. Some of my little tips for a stressless life. Okay, a little less stress. All right. So let's talk about part 3. So now we are going to get into some of our preventions and solutions, guys. Okay, because like I said, there's a silver lining in all of this. Okay. So let's see what they're saying here. So, yep, so this is the good news. You can prevent this. Even if you're seeing early signs, it is not too late. It is never too late, guys, even if you are seeing the early signs. So, number one is to loosen up. Your tightenings shouldn't hurt. And that is something that I have a lot of the clients that I had ended up getting is that was their complaint, that their retightenings was hurting, and that should not happen. And in the event that it does happen, work with your client or work with your consultant to change that up, because that's something that you don't want to have happen, because that's actually affecting your scalp. Like, if you're hurting, it is affecting your scalp. So you're going to have to work that out, okay? Pain is not a part of the process, okay? So remember that. It's not a part of the process. No pain is a part of the process, okay? Experts, they say experts recommend spacing retightness every 6 to 8 weeks and going easy on your edges. This is what Sister Locs recommends as well. So we're already doing the 4 to 8 weeks. Actually they said 6 to 8 weeks, but Sister Locs says 4 to 8 weeks. But I actually, to be honest, I actually agree with this, with their recommendations, because I always recommend the sweet spot with my clients is that 6th to 7th week. I think that 8th week kind of brings you a little bit too far off, and your hair tends to look a little unkept when you go that far off. But that 6th to 7th week is a really sweet spot. So now this is confirmation for me here that is the right. I think 4 to 5 weeks is just a tad too early to retighten your hair. And then around our edges, guys, around your edges, you have to recognize, I'm sure we all do, how fragile and sensitive those areas are. So when we're getting our retightenings and things like that, take it very easy and gentle here. If someone's going too fast, slow them down, okay? You are able to speak your voice out. This is your head. You only have one head. So if something doesn't feel right, make sure you voice that to your consultant. And if they can't understand that, then I think you may want to consider checking somebody else out, okay? All right, so we got that. So now we are going to go into tip 2, okay? Tip 2 is switch up styles, okay? This is also important too, you guys. Make sure you switch up your style. So say you're a type of person that wear ponytails all the time, and you're just that ponytail person right here, and like that's your go-to thing. You have to recognize that you are going to be weakening that area, that pressure point there. Every time you put that ponytail there, you are going to be weakening that lock right in that area, right where you keep that circle at, right in that area. So it is not recommended that you continue to use the styles in the same way. Switch it up. Just like how I may do these braids for a couple of times, then I'll take this out. I'll just wear my hair down. I might wear it like that for a week. Very, 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 very simple, easy, stress less styling. And then if I do anything that I have to hold it somewhere, I will switch that up. So you don't want to keep that same style repeatedly. Do not do that, because regardless of what, you are going to create weak points, guys. So remember that. And then so tip 3 is scalp first. Healthy hair starts with a healthy scalp. And so cleanse regularly, like we talked about that, every 2 weeks, once a week if your locks are really mature and formed really well. I like 2 weeks though. Massage your scalp. I literally get up every morning and I massage my scalp daily. It feels great. I give myself about a good 3 to 5 minute scalp massage, and I love it, okay? And I think you'll love it too. And avoid heavy buildup. So we talked about that. No heavy oils, all this other type of stuff. And even with whatever it is that you use, like if you find that, okay, even if you use some light oils or whatever you might do, and even if you're constantly spraying, like with the exception of water, like say if you're adding something like doing a spritz or whatever, and you're adding a couple of oils or whatever, just make sure you're getting those washes in for sure, because you want to make sure you are getting that hair and scalp clean and that you are not allowing that to build up. And of course, we all know lint attaches to this stuff, and it is crazy hard to get lint out. Let me know in the comments if you have gotten those, like how easy it is to get lint out your locks once it's locked in there. Let's see how easy it is to get that out, guys. So make sure you're paying attention to that, all right? And tip 4, okay, see a dermatologist if you're noticing thinning at the crown, red itchy patches, bumps, or scabs. Okay, so what about me? What did I do? I have some signs. Y'all see that? I did go to a dermatologist and they did recommend me some stuff. I used it for about 2 weeks. I'll say this now. Here is where I'm a human being and I, make my mistakes too. Like I want to be transparent and tell you my wins and my mistakes. So I did go and do that. I did not stay on the regimen that they gave me because I was trying to, my thing is I want to get away from chemicals, anything that have to do with any type of like chemicals. I really am trying my best to go the holistic way. So I really want to try a whole lot of natural type of things with me. So I've been in the process of just trying a lot of natural things. So what do I feel like that's done for me? I kind of feel like it has stopped or slowed down any more of the thinning in my hair. I don't see anything that have gotten worse because I am implementing some things like my massages, my spritzes. I'm trying to incorporate my onion juice and a lot of other different type of things like that. So I'm not saying that I may not go back to it. It depends on how much, if this gets worse for me or whatever, then I may actually go back to the dermatologist. And the thing about it is with my clients, if I see something that is above my pay grade, I definitely recommend people to go see a dermatologist, okay? So make your own decisions based on what you want to do for your own personal life, okay? That's just what I did. Okay, and it says, and it also says, please see a black dermatologist who understands textured hair. You may need treatments like topical steroids, minoxidil Rogaine, or even PRP. This is platelet-rich plasma therapy. I don't know anything about that. However, I did get prescribed the Rogaine, and then there were a few visits where they actually gave me the topical steroid shots. I don't know how much that helped me. I think I ended up getting maybe 3 rounds, and I didn't really see a significant difference. So that's why I discontinued the shots as well, because to me, I just didn't see. But they do say that you generally should wait 3 to 6 months to kind of see some progress. So maybe I should also learn, get a practice of patience. That's another thing that I need to work on, okay? So those are pretty much the things that causes and some of the recommendations of stuff that we have for you. And so as promised at the end, I am going to tell you a little bit about my hair journey, just so that you can get a perspective on things, guys. And then, because I love you all, I am going to be providing you guys with a DIY hair loss prevention spray. Okay, and I'm going to also make sure you guys get your articles. I have like about 4 or 5 articles. Those are going to be located in my post areas on my channel. So when you go to my channel and then you go to the community, where the community tab is, but now it says post. I am actually putting the link there. There is a link that all you have to do is click on that link that I provide for you, and it's going to take you to a Canva page where you are going to find the full spritz of hair loss prevention spritz. Wonderful for the summertime, and then there's going to be some informative articles there too. I hope you guys really enjoy that. That's for my Lockstars, but I'm going to go ahead and just give you my little bit of perspective on what my personal journey was, and just kind of see if you guys can relate a little bit. Okay, so when I think about it, I just think about just from the beginning of how all of this started. And I also think, so I'm gonna put this down because I don't need this anymore. And by the way, these are some of the recommendations I'm talking about. This is actually my spritz, guys. This is my jar I made. And I'll tell you guys what's in my little handy dandy spritz, okay? And then the castor oil that I use. But let me just tell you really quick. This is at 25 minutes. I'm trying to just keep this under about 30, 35 at the most. But anyways, so when I think about our journey as African American women and our hair, it is a very, very I would say it's sensitive, it's complicated, just based on the history of what we had to go through with our our hair and wearing our hair and our beauty standards, how we've been perceived with our hair. Okay, so when I think back on how all of this started, and this is deeper than just locks and hair loss, it's deeper than that, because if you really think about it, we have been dealing with this and have been doing things that actually contributed to our hair loss before many of us even got into locks. Okay, so the first thing is the messaging. It is the messaging that we received from as children growing up. For as young as I can remember, the messaging of we have to get our hair fixed, we have to do stuff to do our hair and whatever. So what did that include? That included putting extreme hot heat, pressing, confirmation again, tap, see? That included pressing our hair using excessively high heat which causes heat damage on our natural hair. We didn't get the message that our hair was beautiful as is, just how it was. So it was always, come here, baby, let mama fix your hair, let me make you look all pretty. Oh, you going to church when I straighten and put the curls. And then, so that is a messaging, and you get that messaging from when you're a child. What are you doing? You're starting to do things that is going to start to damage your natural hair, right? So these are the first things. So these are the beginnings of our hair going to bad, like meaning the destruction of our natural beautiful hair that we have. Okay, so not only did we as females get that messaging, we males got that messaging. My brothers even got that. You need to fix your hair. How many heard of the term the kitchens in the back and the naps? You need to clean up. You need to straighten those naps. You need to drop down below. How many different phrases did you hear? I know we heard nap your head, the nap, the kitchen, and probably a whole bunch of other stuff. Drop it down below if you've heard something different. That is what I heard growing up. So those are our first things. What's the next thing you're doing? The relaxers. Putting all the crazy chemical hair. They even targeted our kids just for me. Boom. Now, who puts a product out of chemicals to put on our babies' heads? Okay, but that's real. That started the thing up. Now we're getting older. We're going on. It's the messaging that we're getting. Fix your hair. As you start to get over, you want to date, right? So you're going to start following what the media is going to put out there. What's the standard of beauty? Straight hair. The Caucasian woman, straight hair. So now this is what you're doing. You're breaking down your hair even more. You're not. Some of us, I know a few people that encourage their kids to wear their natural hair, and if it was a acceptable curl pattern on there, then you had that. All of these things. Then we wore braids. We started to wear our braids, put the weaves in, put the extensions in, doing this, doing that. All of these things we have been already doing for years prior to the lock journey. This was my journey. This was me navigating and seeing. And as I started off with a head full of hair. My mother had a head full of hair. I had thick, full hair as a young girl. But over time, I noticed my hair breaking down more and more, breaking down more and more, breaking down more and more. Once I started to see my hair thinning out with those relaxers, and I had to come to terms with like, oh my God, I am not going to be able to do this any longer. If I continue to do this, I am not going to have any hair on my head. This is when the natural hair movement started to come out. The big chop, everybody, Curly Nikki. If anybody remembers the Curly Nikki website, I was just absorbing everything I could find about the natural hair. So I ended up doing things in between to slow down me relaxing my hair. So every time the fall came, I would put braid extensions in my hair to give myself a break from like November to maybe March. I would like put them in, take them out, put them. And I used to remember when I would take out my hair and see my new growth. To me, I loved it. Like, I was like, oh my God, but at the time, I just was not brave enough to wear it. Even if you tried to wear your natural hair, people looked at you like, what are you doing? Don't be out here showing that nappy head. So people could be thinking that we are hairs like that. It was even from the own Black community, even the women started doing that. That was put on us. But whenever there were like girls that would try to go natural, put it out, it literally, they would be like jumped on, like, or talked about so much until they put that wig back on or straighten their hair again or whatever that is. Now, just have anybody had any of those experiences? Let me know, because I am sure that plenty of us can relate to when you wanted to do that, how people would talk about you and all those different things. So that kind of was like my thing, where I kept saying to myself, one day I'm going to do it. I don't care what nobody say, one day. And then that's the whole thing of you not even understanding what your texture is going to look like. You don't know if it's going to be acceptable enough. You don't even know if you're not even going to know how to take care of your own hair. How about as a grown woman, because you have not dealt with your own hair, you don't even know how to take care of it. So it took a whole long time to even get to that part and just to unlearn it. I really think that there should be a center to deprogram, because it really starts in the mind to get that out of your head, that your hair can look beautiful. You've gotten so used to wearing other people's hair. You've gotten so used to, wearing it long this way, that way, to conform to this person, that person. And even as you think of a partner, I've known people that have actually lost their boyfriends because they went natural, because they don't even understand it, because they're thinking that's not your hair being fixed. And what is the dream? To grow up, have children, get a partner, live, whatever. All of these things matter. So all of this is contributing, all while you're dealing and navigating with all these external things. Your hair is taking a beating. You're thinning out. You're going through so much. You're not even realizing that you're losing your hair. So by the time you find out and you really see, the damage is done. The damage is done. Okay? So this is where we are, Black women, and for all men, whoever is experienced, because men are out here experiencing hair loss too, and it's your self-esteem. Like, y'all think this is easy for me to get up here and be like, trust me, every time it's hard for me to do, but it is about time that we stop all of this, guys, because guess what? Back then, we may not have had that information. They didn't provide a lot for us back then. That's the honest truth. They didn't have like the products that catered to our hair the way that they should have. We definitely didn't have the information, and we didn't realize exactly how much damage we were doing to our hair. Now, we felt it. We knew we didn't like it. We know we didn't like the way it looked, and we're trying to cover up with this and that and all these other things, but we did not have the information. So it's like, when you know better, you do better. Okay? So I want better for all of us, all right? I want better for all of us. We can do this. This is serious. This happens. This is all too common in our community, but we're not talking about it, and we're not doing what we need to do to correct it, okay? This is for our future babies, okay? We do not want them to have to experience what we went through. Why? Because they don't have to, and there's way too much information out here for them to have to go through what we're going through. We're not passing that down, okay? We breaking generational curses. That's a curse, and I'm telling you, we breaking that right here. So again, you guys can find my it's a stimulating hair and scalp tonic, and it's for loss prevention. You're going to find that on my post. And then I'm going to have these recommended articles here that I have. Y'all will get all of those articles, okay? So do me a favor. Okay, guys, so, and like I said, let's say this, you know, hair loss can be scary, guys. Believe me, I know it can be scary, but I'll tell you, knowledge is power, okay? So once you have the knowledge, you can change all of those things, okay? You'll be able to change that. And so if you guys take anything away from this video, okay, let it be that we deserve to have healthy locks. We deserve to have the hair on our heads, okay? We're worth it, and we deserve that. So, and I want this for everybody too. So, like I said, all your family members, moms, aunts, daughters, nieces, all that. Make sure your sons or whatever, whoever wearing the braids, all that kind of too. You can actually give these helpful tips to them as well. It could be helpful for all of them, okay, guys? So we need that. We need to have a journey of pain-free, because everything that we're doing, it does not have to be painful. And if this video have been helpful to you guys, drop a lock and a star down there for me, guys. Show some love. You could drop some hearts as well. And if you are experiencing thinning in your hair, this is a safe place for you to talk about it. Talk about those things down there too. Like, you know, this is a safe space. There's no shame here. Okay. And as anybody who knows me, I already let everybody, anyone who views my channel, there's no foolishness that goes on here. I don't allow it. If anybody even tries to do anything foolish, you will be blocked. You will be out of here, okay? This is a safe space for people, and I intend to keep it that way. I appreciate that when I can find it on other channels, and I am going to make sure that people are comfortable here, okay? And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. And y'all already know, as always, Sharon is Karen, okay? Sharon is Karen. And so until next time, okay, Lockstars, make sure y'all straighten up that crown, okay? I will catch y'all in the next one. It's been a pleasure.